an interview process where everyone screams yes. I feel like that's the goal of all things, right? We want us to all be like, yes, this is what I want. This is the role. This is the person I want to work with. This is where I want to be. I have spent a lot of time hiring people. Probably hired hundreds in my careers, and I have done some things really well, and I've done some really terribly. And I've learned a lot of things along the way. So a few months back, I got to present on sort of hiring and firing with the Joyful Impact Accelerator. And we ended up having this beautiful conversation between Lucy Resio and Sarah Crackman and I around what process works and where have we done this well and where have we not, and decided to turn in an article for Helia. It also had come right off the tail end of working with one of our partners and having a beautiful conversation about all of these moments where we'd hired someone and we knew they weren't right and we did it anyway. Like, what were the pieces of that? And it came out in a couple different ways. One of them is we both have some version of a superhero complex where we're like, we've got it. Like, it's okay. We can teach them. We can fill in the gaps. Like, we're going to make it work. We never did, but we kept believing. There's also a layer where we would think like we just had to have somebody. Like it felt so urgent and so dire that we had to get someone in the role. And looking back, of course, it was not as dire, but we were convinced it was. And finally, there's a third where we just sort of got stuck in our patterns, where it was like, this is where we're headed, this is where we're going. And because we could see all the pieces and we could see what was possible, we clung to it and we stuck with it instead of thinking about like, what could we do and what else might this look like and where do we want to think about this, and staying open to possibilities, which both of us are generally good at, but in those moments we weren't. And so coming from the conversation of the Impact Accelerator and with this beautiful leader who I feel lucky to get to work with, we put together an interview process and an overview. I'm not claiming to be an expert, so this is built much more from experience than like, this is how you do it. But it includes everything from, I love starting with a pre-screen. So as part of the application process, I have everyone fill out a questionnaire. And the couple things about this that I find work really, really well are, one is everyone's consenting to different pieces. But number two, I put in things like it's project management. Well, I make lists and I make them check what they like or put them in order. So do you like building the project plan? Do you like managing the project plan? Do you like executing the things on the project plan? And by making people rank and kind of order those. Or do you like hiring people, onboarding people, managing people, building a large team, working directly one-on-one, if it includes team management? And so really, and like, what do you like? Do you like developing people? Do you like seeing how you can make everything work together really well? Do you like having a great team culture? Like, what are those things? And by ranking them, I get a sense of who the person is. The second is my favorite question to ask in an interview, a pre-screen questionnaire, is what is someone's pet peeve? Because they'll tell you. People tell you who they are. And I know I was working at one org where, people would say, I hate when others are late. And I was like, well, we're all late. All the time. And, another person had said they really didn't like when plans changed. And I, at the time, was working at a really entrepreneurial organization. So those things won't match. So you just sort of, when you're in a room with someone, it's easy to be like, I'm falling in love with you. Or I feel these connections and we want to avoid. So this gives us good information early on. We then sort of move through a phone screen, and then I love to do a why interview. This is a time where I always do it by phone. I pace back and forth in my yard, honestly. And I ask someone to walk me through their life, their experience, like the work they've done, and I just listen. And in that listening process, it's really powerful because I'm hearing what matters to people. What are they proud of? What are they excited about? Where's the energy? Where are they glossing over? What has gone well? And I might ask a clarifying question or two. I might share a little bit more about sort of what I'm looking for, but mostly I'm there to listen. Because if the why of what that person is looking for maps to the why we're hiring for the job. So getting back to those pre-screen questions, do I need someone that can develop a young team? Do I want someone to build an incredible strong culture? Do I want someone who can have a fine-tooth machine that's working seamlessly together if we're building teams? Do I want someone who loves hiring people? Do I love someone who loves figuring out how to do stuff better? Is it someone who wants to build, or is it someone who wants to execute? And where are we? Like, why am I hiring for this job? And if those whys line up, things go really well. And when those whys do not line up, someone that wants to build something, that's coming into something where it's really execution, you can't come through that. I then move into generally panel interviews with people folks are going to work with, and focus on sharing stories of what's gone well, what hasn't, lots of examples. When are we at our best? When have things felt the worst? Along this way, I often ask people to share what work they've already done. So examples of existing works that they can share that demonstrate, what does your project plan look like? What does your proposals that you're proud of look like? What is some team agendas from team meetings that you've run? Whatever those are, but things that are easy to share so I can get a sense of what already exists. I put that somewhere early in the process. After the panel interviews, if we're still moving, we've aligned on the why, the teams all feel really good, I will have folks do an exercise. And I evolved so much in this process. Still not sure it's exactly right, but generally I want to get at how someone thinks. So I say, spend less than an hour. Here's the job description. What do you like? How are you going to approach your first 90 days for more senior hires? Like, what is that going to look like? And for junior hires, here's this. What's the other? What information do you need? What are the questions that you have for me or for whoever you're going to work with that will tee you up to do this well? Rarely do I have someone put together a full deliverable. Sometimes I have folks, after learning absolutely the hard way, after multiple hires that did not work out, because they had outsourced their portfolio, that we do those activities live. So when a real skill set is needed, so when I need someone and I need to see how they're going to code or how they're going to build, we'll do a live session, sometimes in the office, sometimes if you have one, sometimes just over a Zoom meeting, just to kind of watch someone work. But kudos to people who can figure out how to outsource stuff and get in. And most of the time I need to know what that looks like. If all of this lines up and it's all feeling really good, I generally do, for more senior roles, a capstone in person, if not over the phone. And that's a moment where it's just, what have you learned in this process? What are you nervous about? What's there? And it's a moment to ask some of the really important questions, like, what's your favorite working relationship you've ever had and why? And what do you think will be true here and what will not? And, I took a role once where I did not have that. And I think I knew that the job worked well for my family. I think I knew that I was excited about the work. And I think I also felt like there was going to be some tricky spots. But we didn't have that kind of conversation. And, well, I just wish we had. So that's an overview of our interview process that Helia loves, that I've built over time. I'd love to hear what your interview processes are. I'd love to hear what parts of this resonate, what's helpful, what's not. And as always at Helia, take what's helpful, leave what's not, and make it your own. Thanks.